But I definitely agree with the Chiefs and what he was saying in that, you know, Fadeaway play really good, solid, fundamental Rocket League. That makes them really hard to break through on defense, Corelli. But this game is going to come down to how many shots Fadeaway can put on net. And I'm not sure that they can outshoot Vitality.
Yeah, I think a lot of the focus has been on the defensive structure and shape from Fadeaway, but you win games by scoring goals, and you need some sort of offense. And so I think for Fadeaway, it will come down to finishing chances that arise, and that was a huge one right off the bat. 2 players went for it from Fadeaway, and they couldn't convert.
It looked intentional on the pitch. Tigre takes 2 shots at the net, but only nothing happens. Freaky, a nice flick. Well, Fadeaway are actually putting some shots in right now, but another pop-up will keep Vitality square for now. Tigre, he's still behind this. Fadeaway aggressive here in midfield. Ocelon winning another 50. Really, it wasn't even a 50 considering he's the only one who touched the ball. But Fadeaway set up nicely in midfield so far, Corelli.
And for Vitality, you know, they do have to be careful of what Fadeaway can turn these games into. Fadeaway is a team that can play those gritty type of beat 'em up type of games where it just gets a little sloppy in the midfield. Teams are happy just to throw the ball through downfield and kind of just see what comes out from it. And Fadeaway are experts in this type of gameplay. And so for Vitality, they want to be very structured. They want to have Alpha on the ball, but they got to make sure that Fadeaway doesn't get a hold of it, doesn't control the pace of this game. Otherwise, Vitality will struggle to break out. As we're seeing so far, Vitality have struggled to really get a clean break from their half.
Kadop just trying to get the ball away, but Ocelon was ready for it, very speedily taking it to the back wall. And a high pop for Tigre. Freaky has the read, but had to fight Fairy Peak for the ball. Now Alpha gets there in time against Ocelon. Kadop follow up from midfield. Tigre with a quick save. Fadeaway want to move right back downfield with a launch from Freaky. And now it comes down to a 50 from Ocelon. Can't get around Kadop. Tigre just gonna buy some time. But Fadeaway, they spent about 2 or 3 seconds on their own back wall, and we're back in midfield or in the orange half. There's a nice win by Kadop in the corner, but Ocelon collects his boost and the ball. Fairy Peak wins the challenge. Alpha will score. It's technically an own goal on the attempted save on the post.
Well, it looks like Alpha just had some space here, and it pinches right out to him. Tigre was trying to play that pinch that would have come back towards the corner. Instead, comes straight out to Alpha, who catches that last defender on the goal line. So Vitality will strike first here after struggling to play the Fadeaway offense here. Can Fadeaway bounce back? That's a tough one to give up after so much offense was generated.
And the midfield presence, especially from Ocelon, he was winning a lot of tough 50s, and that was helping Fadeaway get set up on offense. They definitely looked better out the gate than I expected, and you'd like to see him keep going for that despite going down. Fadeaway, you don't want to see them start to turtle up because a lot of that offense, it really forced Vitality to play carefully on the defensive end, not to take too many risks. Saw a couple of times they were trying to take the ball away from Fadeaway, bringing it back closer to them, and now Fadeaway do continue the pressure. Ocelon keeping it close against the ramp, but Fairy Peak, a hard touch to Kadop, which is picked up by Tigre. He's having himself a pretty solid game so far, Corelli.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of pushing the ball away from Vitality players, or if he can't do that, just make it awkward for them. Even this touch here, although I don't know if he meant to get that second one off the back wall, it's so smart just to avoid the Vitality players and give his team another chance. Maybe it won't be him to have a shot, but setting up his teammates. And Fadeaway are looking really, even sitting at 0-1 right now, are looking really good. They've yet to really crack that goal line defensive Vitality.
It's completely different from what we saw yesterday, where they seemed timid coming out of their own half. They couldn't really break out of midfield, and they were just trying to trap every ball that came in. It's a completely different play style against Vitality. They're first to the puck. They're taking shots on net. They're scoring. Finally, Fadeaway break through Vitality's defenses.
They finally break through, but I feel like Vitality probably should have made this save. It was Fairy Peak and Kadop here, and Fairy Peak just side flipped out of the way of the ball. And unfortunately, he's going to give up a goal. But like you said, Jorby, I think Fadeaway definitely have earned this goal after the amount of pressure and chances they've had. 6 shots in their favor here in this game, and a lot of them have been high-quality chances. Here's one from Alpha that's being saved away by Freaky.
This is where it could get tough for Fadeaway if they don't get a quick clear, but they do, with Freaky, who has continued to be reliable on defense. Ocelon will not get into this ball. It's a great touch from Alpha. Fairy Peak, quick follow-up. K-Dop will score. Vitality, speedy.
And yeah, they're quick to the ball here, but more importantly, look at the finesse from K-Dop here. Tigre and Ocelon, and look at the touch down and away. He knew that if he blasted that ball, it was most likely going to be saved, and instead just plays it so lightly and tenderly under the defense.
Fadeaway, another kickoff going towards the orange half. Can they tie this up again? Tigre, a rolling shot. Ocelon trying to prevent the hard boomer from Fairy Peak. And it wasn't a hard boomer, but it did force Freaky to start from his own corner. And Fadeaway having to position off the goal line, more defensive than they'd like to. Tigre had to stretch the entire box. He couldn't find it, but luckily the rebound wasn't good enough for Fairy Peak to put it in the net, and he had the save. But now they got to try again from the corner. Alpha's all over it. Tigre and to Ocelon. Move downfield. Freaky's next and puts it into the ground. Vitality will take game one, but really, it felt like Fadeaway had owned most of that game, yet Vitality still score more.
Very slow start from Vitality, and I think Fadeaway really caught him off guard there. And it was kind of what I was alluding to in the beginning of game one as we were getting into it. Fadeaway have to convert on the chances that they're given, and this game is a perfect example of that. They had a lot of chances here in this game, a lot of pressure in the Vitality side, but just never could convert anything. They got one goal, and it was really mostly a mistake from Fairy Peak. Honestly, he really should have had that save. So for Fadeaway, it's a great job on offense. It truly is, but that last piece of the puzzle of scoring the actual goal, putting the shot away from that final defender, just never came for them. And you can see Vitality, when they get their chances, they're very deadly and a high percentage team that will score a goal when they have the opportunity presented to them. That's really what I think Fadeaway walks away with here from game one.
And they're so good at giving you the unexpected on offense, which is part of what I think makes them so dangerous in that respect, because you expect them to go a certain way or to pick a certain option on offense, but then they just go something that is just completely beyond what you expected, and then the ball's in your net. But Fadeaway, when they started game one, I was just surprised by how aggressive they were out the gate, and it never really stopped. They clearly want to beat Vitality to the punch on a lot of these opportunities, Corelli, but like you said, like Vitality did such a good job on defense, making sure that if Fadeaway were going to score, it's going to happen because Vitality misplayed, or it came off of that creative, the creative passing that Fadeaway was starting to develop before Vitality picked them apart on the hard clears.
And you really pointed it out, Jorby, about Flame, excuse me. He's done a great job on the final third of the field and making sure that Vitality just don't have any clean hits. You know, he's kind of doing the dirty work, keeping the play alive, giving his team a second chance. And oh my goodness, Alpha with the dunk. No second chances here for Fadeaway, and Vitality get the first goal.
Already, Tigre and Freaky both waiting for this ball to come back to them, and Freaky was just angling a little bit farther to the ramp and went just far enough that he had to recover to flip out to the side. There was no way he was going to get back to that challenge. Vitality taking advantage of the space given to them with two players caught in the corner. Ocelon gets under it. He did get the flip reset, but Alpha was right on top of him. He got demoed by Freaky. It might have been the only thing to prevent them from scoring on that play. K-Dop squaring up against Freaky, and Fairy Peak grabs it. Such a speedy carry up to the corner, and it falls right into Alpha's lap, carrying it through, pounced up across the box. K-Dop will send it back to the corner. Vitality, consistent presence in the blue half. Fairy Peak will let this drop for Alpha.
Yeah, Vitality definitely have made some changes here, and it's a little bit more scary when you see Alpha being able to air dribble across the field like that, especially behind his own half line. So I think Vitality are a little bit more comfortable now. They know what Fadeaway are bringing to the table, and it's really up to Fadeaway to convert the chances that they're given here, because Vitality are certainly warming up.
Now, Fadeaway have having some issues running into each other. That wasn't the first time that they've bumped into each other. On the goal line, it's happened a couple of times now in game two, so a little haphazard from Fadeaway. Tigre receiving a long pass from Freaky. He had the catch, but Fairy Peak waits patiently and is rewarded with the ball, but Freaky right on top of him. Vitality, pretty tight rotation on defense. Fadeaway hasn't really forced them to stretch too much, and their structure lends them another clear. They're forced back to their own corner yet again, but Fairy Peak picked off by Tigray. No one from Fadeaway ready for it, and Vitality, passing play down the field. Alpha sends another. Freaky can't find the read, and K-Dot punishes.
And look how quick this was from Vitality. They pick up the ball, great pass over to K-Dot, gives it back over to Alpha, pops it over Freaky, and it just happened so fast that the defense just couldn't get set from Fadeaway. You can see even Freaky was struggling to stay with it. And when you get those 1-2 passes in the midfield, a lot of defenses struggle with reading that, and you can't blame them in a game like Rocket League where it's so hard to get your car in the right position and mechanically line up for a play. The switch of field is just so deadly.
So fast on the read, K-Dot, and Fairy Peak, every time he carries it up the opponent's back wall, he's like full boost. He just knows, he's just so good at carrying the ball is all I'm trying to say. Tigray back up over to Ocelon, and caught again by Fairy Peak, dumping it out to K-Dot. A little risky, but Freaky wasn't close enough. Freaky can't grab the redirect from Tigray, comes back down, but Ocelon has to keep this ball locked in the orange half. He does buy time, dumps the ball out for a long pass to Tigray that got broken up anyway. Fadeaway are barely hanging on to this ball, and finally Vitality break through. It only felt like a matter of time.
It feels like the boost game is really going in favor of Vitality right now. That's a poor touch from Freaky. He had no options there on the left side to go straight to Fairy Peak, but it does feel like Vitality are able to do a lot more with the boost that they have, and Fadeaway are having to rotate farther and farther back into their own half to get set to pick up boost and then have another chance on net to move downfield. But it just feels like right now, Vitality are just owning the boost game at the moment, and Fadeaway are just struggling to keep up with the pace.
Hard touch from Ocelon, and Tigray flips into the side of it to try to hit near post, but nothing happens. That last shot, it might as well not even happen because you just hit right into a Vitality car. And Freaky, high ball, but it's sent right back to his own back wall from Alpha. Ocelon responds with the boomer. Fadeaway, the offense has struggled. And in game one, where they had all of that pressure, they still only came away with 1 goal. In this game, Corelli, 7 shots and nothing to show for it. From the 3 for 6 on Vitality, a 50% efficiency as a team, you can't ask for much better.
Yeah, and they've been really good plays from Vitality. It's plays that you would expect from Vitality. You know, the quick 1-2 downfield, the follow-ups after multiple chances. You have Alpha on the air dribble. You have Alpha doing a lot of individual plays. It's where Vitality are comfortable, and Fadeaway haven't been able to get a grasp here in game 2.
A Fadeaway, it's back to the drawing board yet again. They were in this exact spot against Libertas yesterday. They went down 2-0. And then fought back to win in a reverse sweep fashion. However, the caliber of team they are up against is probably going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, I mean, I would not really pick any team to reverse sweep Vitality in any tournament whatsoever. But I do feel like Fadeaway is one of the teams that could do it if, we're going to pick a team. And they've already done it once before, not with Vitality, but they've done it.
I don't know, man. And like maybe game 1, maybe if Fadeaway put away a couple chances, then I'd be inclined to be like, yeah, Fadeaway are definitely the team to do it. But we just have to see a different look. We have to see them actually control the pitch, because that shot from Ocelon, that's already a half chance. And that kept happening where Alpha 54 was finding picks all over the place. And the rotation from Fadeaway, it's almost like they weren't expecting it to happen. So Vitality, when they get so many of those interceptions that lead directly to goals, Fadeaway, their rotations are not accounting for it. They have to find a way to adjust against it because Vitality are picking them apart all.
Yeah, I think if this game starts in the same way that the last one did, then Fadeaway are in some real trouble. They got to get back to that game 1 form where they had a lot of this pressure, constant shots coming off from anyone on Fadeaway, really. It doesn't really matter who it is at this point. They got to just put on this pressure that Vitality actually struggled to deal with in game 1.
There we go. Freaky wins another 50, but Ocelon just a little too far back for that one. But Tigray grabs that Ocelon back to Tigray, and Fadeaway are not going to fade away quite yet.
Great little dump here from Aslan. Realizes that no one from Vitality were up to this ball and could just drop it back off to Tigray. And I'm not sure about the boost game there for Vitality if someone couldn't get up to where they're reading a different play. But either way, that space opens up chances for Fadeaway, excuse me.
Tigray pinches it by Alpha. He's going to roll back up and start this progression for Vitality. K-Dot grabbing the next 50, and it will be punted away by Freaky. Aslan takes that midfield boost. That challenge will now be Tigray's, but it gets to the side. And that's going to buy time for Vitality, but Fairy Peak missed the challenge. It might not matter. Shot is blocked by Alpha, who had to withstand Tigray, barreling towards him at the net.
Wow, and that's a chance for Fadeaway that they're going to want back. Even though they're sitting 1-0 here, 2-0 would have felt much nicer. And that was beautifully set up by Tigray. Still, Fadeaway, they do have this shape that looks like game one, where Vitality are just forced to dump it to the midfield, and everyone from Fadeaway are happy to receive it. They got to sustain this pressure and hope to break the defense once more.
Alpha followed very closely, and so he has the ball and some space, and another 50-50 win for Alpha. But Fadeaway grabbing the ball, trying to find a way out of that corner. Vitality just have him locked in. Freaky gets bumped off of his touch, and Alpha has the carry. Wow. Oh my goodness, Alpha 54!
Hello, Alpha coming through, and I don't think a lot of people expected him to go for this, but a great flip onto the ball. Aslan a little bit late, got a piece of it, but not enough. And Alpha, you don't want him on the ball barreling towards your net like that. He'll put it away.
He's such a dangerous player when he can beat you in so many different ways that you have to wonder how he's going to do it again. Alpha, speedy to beat Aslan to that ball. He pops it up, maybe a little too high that time. Freaky was ready for it, breaks it up. But Fairy Peak is there again. Fadeaway, they never really seem to actually put Vitality on the ropes. Vitality, they pull off when they're on defense when they have to, and then they always come up with the save. They force you to beat Alpha 54, and how could you when he's just barreling through the entire team?
I love this play from Alpha. It has the flip reset there, but doesn't use it, and it just kind of slows that last defender in Aslan down. I think he was trying to play the flip reset, and when it didn't come, he realized that he was stuck sideways with Alpha behind the ball again, and it was almost flashbacks from the previous goal. And now Alpha might have another one if Aslan makes the save. And Vitality all of a sudden coming alive off of the Alpha individual play.
Again, he beat you in a different way that time. He got you from the corner with a quick double tap. And that time he beat you with a flip reset. Right in the middle, almost a dunk on top of it, and he takes the ball away from Aslan.
he stays
right,
it
Alpha.
too.
Okay,
nobody's allowed to score. It's
maybe your ball
Alpha.
chasing a little bit, Alpha. Settle down.
If your name isn't Alpha, you're not allowed to score, and
no,
it doesn't matter. Here he goes again. Full boost to work with here. Got the flip reset. Tigray read that one all the way.
So much space. There's just no speed out of Fadeaway. They're forced to play reactionary to the next touch from Vitality, and I don't know why this is in the net.
Big miss. Big miss here. I believe it's K-Dop. Had zero boost, and Alpha had full trust in K-Dop to get this touch, and when it didn't come, Alpha couldn't get back up to it. It certainly wasn't expecting K-Dop to miss. I don't know if the call out for no boost was there, but K-Dop had zero going for that challenge.
Puts Fadeaway back in contention for this game. Alpha, he won the ball, but that was a hard bounce off the backboard. What a pass from Alpha to Fairy, but Tigray was right in front. Freaky. Now can he carry the ball out for Fadeaway? Well, two players will be scattered across the plains before they respawn, and the ball finds itself on the back wall of Vitality. So here come Fadeaway. Freaky, one touch. Aslan denied by K-Dop, and downfield already is Alpha. He's going to chase that down, but Tigray will have it. Fairy Peak next one, pot shot above the backboard. And Alpha comes in yet again. Nothing really developing, but every 50 just seems to be falling back to a Vitality car. Freaky grabs the next from Fairy Peak, but Alpha just punts Freaky away from the play. So Vitality are like, all right, we'll try again from our own back wall, but so far have been unsuccessful on this last push.
And the clears are weak from Fadeaway. It's just not enough power behind him to get over that first man in Vitality, and it's just landing in the lap of some of these players with full boost on the Vitality side. If Fadeaway really just want to blast the ball out of there, they got to hit it high into space away from these Vitality players to at least buy some time to get back into shape and pick up some boost.
And Fairy Peak immediately took that option away from Ocelon. That's just unfair. Even when you actually get the right option to take the ball away from Alpha, well, Fairy Peak's ready, dude. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna go to overtime, maybe, unless Alpha has some more antics up his sleeve. He's gonna let it drop for K-Dop. Steps it for Fairy. Fairy can't find the goal, and we do have overtime.
And that's the beautiful threat of Alpha, is that when he does go for the fake, which is very seldom, by the way, is that it just completely throws off the defense. And when he leaves it for his other teammates, it's like, oh, free ball, thank you.
Vitality have gotten what feels like a couple of free ones just based off of how the challenges have gone for them. And obviously Alpha's solo ability has just been incredible in this game, and it might send Vitality to the semifinal unless Fadeaway can find an answer with a goal here. But the chances have been few and far between. They've registered 7 shots on net from the 9 on Vitality, so maybe it wasn't as lopsided as I thought, but it certainly felt like it for a while. Fadeaway, take another ball away. All Freaky can do is dive in front, and this is going to be Fairy's ball down the other way.
And the difference is, I mean, Vitality are just sustaining the pressure after their initial shot, where it feels like Fadeaway have one good look, and then it's back to defense for them at the moment. They haven't been able to really lock in this Vitality defense in a long time.
The challenge from Tigray. Again, Fadeaway forced to wait around in midfield. Maybe a demo can actually give them some continuous touches. A lob in midfield. Tigray's shot denied by Fairy Peak. Still though, Ocelon finds Tigray. Another shot to commit. It's a hard ball out to the side that Freaky grabs. Now K-Dop, he's going to slow that down real quick. Right over Freaky. Can he get by Ocelon? Well, he forces Ocelon to juggle the ball, and Alpha punts it right over him again.
Very tense overtime. Again, talking about Vitality having a lot of tries. Now Fadeaway in the last 30-40 seconds have some opportunity, and it's Freaky to take it in overtime, and Fadeaway stay alive.
How do Fadeaway always stay alive in these series? When it looks like they're finally out, when it looks like the other team finally has their number, they somehow always come back to do this, Corelli. I don't know how Freaky always finds the goal when he needs it the most.
It wasn't just Freaky there as well. Ocelon got a great bump on Fairy Peak, and it forced the second to last defender, to go for Vitality. It was a little bit late on that. So great little play there from Fadeaway, and finally are able to break the defense of Vitality. That's what we've been asking for, and there have been shots, like you pointed out, from Fadeaway. There were opportunities here in this match, and again, it just takes that setup, and they finally got it there with the bump, and they're able to break through.
I feel like one of the things that's been difficult for Fadeaway when they do get to the orange half was Fairy Peak. I thought Fairy Peak was a nuisance on the on defense, and he was doing such a great job of grabbing the ball, carrying it around, and even if he doesn't straight up win the 50, Fadeaway were never positioned for where the ball went because Fairy was so good at slowing down the play just for a second or two, which forces you to have to think about where he's going with the ball, because the challenge for the first man on Fadeaway was never where he was expecting. The play slows down so quickly, and that's how Vitality get out of so many squirrely situations. But if Fadeaway can outlast you, well, we might be seeing game 5, but right now we're not. We're on game 4. Vitality trying to close this out. We'll see if Fadeaway can pull a repeat what they did yesterday.
I think another thing for Fadeaway is just making sure to keep track of Alpha. I mean, he kind of ran amok here in this last game. That's a good shot if Alpha can get back. But it does feel like Alpha had a lot of space to work with, and that's never good. Doesn't matter who you are. Anytime Alpha has that much space to work with, it does feel like unchecked, he will win games by himself, and he was almost able to do it here in this last game. Unfortunately, Vitality couldn't hang on.
Fadeaway with Ocelon. They chuck the ball downfield, but Fairy Peak was right there, and he'll catch it and almost score. It came off of Alpha, who faked that as if he was going to pop it off his car, and it gave Fairy Peak a little bit of space, but Vitality boomed this and Tigray will match it in midfield. To commit here for Vitality. And now a chance for Fadeaway. Ocelon moving downfield. He'll win the 50 against 1. Fairy Peak jumps early. Alpha coming in to just bulldoze in front of him. And nothing really yet. Alpha's got to stay behind this ball. Ocelon found a way through, but the ball popped above the crossbar. Not the greatest touch for Fadeaway if they want to keep the pressure up. And continuing to pull up the ball there. I actually was surprised Tigray didn't immediately turn on that rebound. Maybe he was expecting a faster hit and clear from Vitality. Regardless, Ocelon moves down the field.
Fadeaway doing a great job of breaking out from their defensive half now and quickly moving downfield and generating a shot on target. Vitality definitely have to respect that now. Haven't seen that too much from Fadeaway. And again, here they go. Quickly down the field using Freaky, a player who I've always pointed to as someone who just gets the job done on both sides of the field. You need him in the net to make that, epic save on the goal line. He's there. You need him on the finishing touch. He's there as well. Like, he's always there for his team on both sides of the field. It's what makes him so good and why he's been able to last for so long.
Fadeaway are stretched laterally on their defensive half, but they've been doing exactly what you've been saying, Corelli. Freaky has had a couple of nice clears. That's not a good touch, though. It might fall apart right there. Alpha hopping right on that mistake. Fairy Pete coming back to K-Dop, and Tigray gets them out for now. Alpha, he's going to search for Fairy. Fairy's going to let that challenge play out before he heads over for the challenge. And now Tigray will grab it back to Freaky, who pops it up. Is this a chance for Fadeaway? No, no one was ready to take the shot. Vitality were able to get there first, yet Ocelon grabs the ball. Freaky's coming in, but he can't snipe K-Dop off. Ocelon hard ball, and Freaky tips it away. Like the small touches in front, causes chaos on Vitality's goal line. Alpha picks up that save, and K-Dop will carry this out. So despite the chaos, Fadeaway still can't come away with a goal, and they have to pick up a save.
A lot of chances in there, and give credit to the Vitality defense. They hung in there. They never were too spread out on the goal line, and not too many of them were jumping at the same ball, and that's a lot of discipline in the chaos of a Fadeaway offense. So hats off to Vitality to stick through that.
Ocelon bumping Alpha, but he took Alpha with him for the ride. He's like, all right, you're coming with me on this, but I'm getting this ball. And they finally are able to get out of their own half. Tigray having to meet another challenge against K-Dop, who just prevented that whole play from developing for Fadeaway. He stopped one player, and then stopping two pretty much forces Fadeaway to have to reset the rotation and then play Rebound Simulator 2020. And now they're back to their own half. Alpha, one touch is coming back to him. Alpha, 54's shot is denied by Ocelon. K-Dop plays a quick one off the back wall, but no one will be ready for it yet, and Fairy Peak will take it out to the corner. Vitality, as soon as Fadeaway gets some momentum, they somehow snuff that flame out and force them to have to start just, I don't know, Corelli. But Fadeaway have to restart every single time. Vitality have picked them apart on offense.
Yeah, they get stuck in mud as soon as they get downfield, and then Vitality just send them back to the starting line and say, okay, come again. And now Vitality having multiple attempts here. Here's Alpha, dangerous if he can get the touch. He doesn't get it. Fairy Peak very smartly carries this one away. And with 10 seconds left, Vitality might have the last chance here. K-Dop gonna get a second touch. Alpha's there, Scott's wide, and the defense barely hanging on for Fadeaway.
Ooh, Alpha tried to prevent Tigray from getting that clear, and he forced the challenge. Maybe this can be K-Dop and Fairy Peak's moment, but Ocelon was flying the whole way, and a wonderful challenge as well. This is Fadeaway's last opportunity, the second time, in overtime, and maybe they lose it off the kickoff. K-Dop, hard rebound off the back wall that is denied by Tigray, and Fairy Peak is the last man back. Quick turnaround will be, again, Fairy Peak on defense. Makes it really difficult for Fadeaway to find a single opening. K-Dop, another high ball, but Fadeaway are waiting in midfield. Ocelon caught off by Freaky. One demo to stint the rotation, but the rotation didn't need any help. Alpha almost found the goal. K-Dop, high ball again. Tigray knocks it back to the side. Alpha hops on top of it again. Vitality, aggressive formation here on offense, and it's picked off of Ocelon by Alpha. Fairy Peak denied by Tigray. Still, the corner belongs to Vitality, and Freaky, finally, do they get a clear to Tigray? No, it's just right back into Vitality, but Freaky will make another challenge happen for his team. Fadeaway surviving overtime in the first minute.
Very dicey from Fadeaway there. It felt like Vitality had him on the ropes, and still you're noticing that Fadeaway are playing more and more defense even into this overtime, and even before. K-Dop going for 2 and a big block from Freaky, but he got 2 defenders to go, and Fadeaway just struggling to get any control here. Alpha almost able to end it.
Alpha giving way for K-Dop, but Ocelon blocks a couple of opportunities. Freaky trying to find where Alpha's going, and he'll get back over to Tigray. Still Fairy Peak. This corner has been his. He will not relinquish it easily. Ocelon, finally, is this a chance? He gives it to Freaky. Freaky shot is saved for now. Fairy Peak is up and saves Tigray's shot. Fairy Peak keeping Vitality in it on defense. Alpha, does he have a quick one off the ceiling? No, Freaky takes it away again. Talk about defensive structure for Fadeaway, Corelli. This is where they really shine in these tight overtime situations where they seemingly are unbeatable on defense.
It's not pretty at times, but it works. Their defense is extremely solid, but only for so long. 1v1 against Fairy Peak. And Tigray does well to dunk this away. Now he might just do it himself. A left side shot turned away by Alpha, and now Fadeaway are having some chances.
Nice double from Freaky back to Ocelon, and that touch won't help Fadeaway's chances. It'll only help Alpha. Tigray, his challenge right to Ocelon. Cut off by Fairy Peak. Ocelon catches it again. Freaky's the next up for this. Fadeaway now pushing forward, but forced to respect K-Dop on the clear, and everybody back to boom it downfield. But Vitality slowly take control. Fairy Peak has the pass from Alpha. Straight down in front of the box. Freaky blocked out by Fairy Peak, and Ocelon will have the next carry. Again, it feels like the wheels are about to fall off, but Fadeaway had me fooled every time, and they get the clear.
And the boost game, you can see Freaky couldn't even go for that ball when he was sitting on the gold line. He only had 20 boosts. It was tough to keep up with it. And while Fadeaway, like we've been saying, have been playing more and more defense, Vitality just haven't been able to crack it. They really haven't done anything different. They've really thrown the kitchen sink at him, and Fadeaway still stand tall.
Up high on the backboard, Alpha looks downfield for himself. He didn't find himself, and now he's looking at a potential goal being scored, but Ocelon was defended. Tigray, he stole the boost away, but the ball, well, it's Alpha's. He gets by Ocelon. Tigray's out of the play, but Vitality are off the ball. They gotta wait for Ocelon, and Fairy Peak will grab this first touch. It's gonna be tough to get back to. Allows Freaky to get the clear. Ocelon gets the first touch, but it's met with the clear from Alpha. Freaky trying to buy time for Tigray. It was just enough for a challenge, and Ocelon's in the air. Here's one touch. There's 2 for Freaky. No, Fairy Peak will get back to the ball. K-Dop, it's a breakaway. He's got to beat Ocelon, and he can't find the read, can't find the boost, and he's got to retreat. Fairy Peak buying him time.
4 minutes into this overtime, and you know, Vitality are feeling a bit of the pressure now too. There's been a couple fast breaks here. That one's dangerous. Freaky can't get there. And Fadeaway, they've been putting Vitality on the back foot more and more as we get deeper into overtime.
Tigray can't get away from Fairy Peak, who pops it straight off the ground. At least prevents Freaky from leaving the corner. Alpha making it difficult for this Fadeaway defense to get a single clear. Freaky or Ocelon, who will it be? Ocelon back to Tigray, but no touch from Tigray. And so Vitality feel no pressure. Fadeaway are just struggling for solid touches right now on defense. Finally, they get one from Freaky. Ocelon dives in front for this. Now a chance. Freaky again pops it high. But every time they've tested Fairy Peak on the backboard, he has passed with flying colors, and they cannot break through Vitality's defense. A full game of Rocket League played. Ocelon works his way towards the box. Freaky back to Tigray. Flipped it under. Alpha blocks it again. Vitality are unstoppable on defense. Fairy Peak stopped by Ocelon, but how long can this last?
Oh my goodness. Now 10 saves from Vitality, and they're barely hanging on with the offense that we're seeing from Fadeaway. All of a sudden coming alive and really got that defense all warped on the Vitality side. Fadeaway, can they steal this game away? Can they do it against the team and now put this one to game 5 and possibly force a reverse sweep? It would be quite the story against a team like Vitality at this point in the regional.
Ooh, little pop from Alpha back to K-Dop. Fairy Peak, wow, Fadeaway. They are flying true to every single aerial strike that Vitality have given them. And another clear.
There's been 13 shots from Vitality, and Fadeaway have saved 12 of them.
Wow. It certainly feels that way, too. Vitality have really tested Fadeaway time and again. And Alpha, every time he's behind the ball, it feels like he's about to give them the one goal that they need. But then a quick save in a tough situation comes out from one of these three players. It's not just Freaky, it's all three of them. Fairy Peak and K-Dop double commit, and that's going to force Vitality to retreat. But Ocelot had Tigray on the wing. That's a chance to really set up a passing play and force Vitality to respect multiple options, Corelli, but they grab the ball again. But it's going to be tough to get by Vitality when you haven't won every single 50-50.
Yeah, and I can't blame that play too much. We're sitting here almost 7 minutes into overtime, and you can tell players get a little bit antsy at this point in a game like this where they just want to make sure that they're safe, they're out of their end. They don't want to play anything too scary or too difficult that maybe a mistouch might spell disaster for them. And that wasn't the worst chance in the world. Here's a great touch, though, as it pinches off of a Vitality player. Can Fadeaway put this one to bed? A great pass out to Ocelot. He's there to put it away. Tigray puts it home. 7 minutes and 13 seconds, and Fadeaway go to game 5.
After Tigray just missed a shot earlier, he's given a gift from Ocelot, but that gift was not unearned. He worked his way to that box, and here we are again. Fadeaway coming back from 0-2 to force a game 5 and potentially a reverse sweep. That was an incredible defensive performance. That's the Fadeaway that Achieves was talking about on the desk. When you talk about solid fundamental defense, that is exactly what Fadeaway gave you. But so did Vitality, Corelli.
Yeah.
They were perfectly positioned on defense almost the entire time. There were 2 times that they could have gotten punished. Fairy Peak, he was on the near post side when Tigray took his first shot 20 seconds before that goal got scored. And then after that, they were scrambling to try to get the next challenge. They didn't get the challenge win, and they still had to force the ball through. It still had to come off of like 30 bounces to get into Vitality's net.
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake, with the compliments that we've given to the Fadeaway defense, could also be said for the Vitality defense as well. They have really hung on, especially late into that overtime when they really started to be tested. Fadeaway came alive a lot more as that overtime kind of lingered. And so for Vitality, they were forced to play some tough defense, and unfortunately were the first to crack.
And so Champions Field makes his appearance yet again. Vitality started off so strong. These games have been close. They haven't really relinquished that strength at all. But Fadeaway have just upped the pace. They've really started to match Vitality and forced them to play perfect on defense at every step. But can they continue that momentum? This has been a long set for both teams. Ocelot takes the first carry. He's got the flip reset, tried to fake out Fairy Peak. Another shot from Freaky, quickly followed up by Tigray, but not before K-Dop gets there for the clear.
And Freaky here to reset. I like the option here to find Tigray downfield. Didn't really get the best touch, but actually it did fool K-Dop, and it almost paid off for Ocelot in the end. And Freaky still trying to set up Tigray. Vitality are smart enough to push up a little bit and cut it out.
Well, the rest of Vitality have to retreat for boost here, so Alpha's job is just to buy time. And Fadeaway, they got a lot of space here, but it's 2 hard touches that work towards the box. It's Freaky, shadows K-Dop on the play. Fairy Peak, though, will find K-Dop. A quick transition saves by Tigray.
It'd be interesting to see how Vitality responds in this game. I don't put them as a team to really get shaken up by an overtime like that, even though it hurts to lose, certainly.
It definitely does, but I mean, they were still playing so well. And
yeah.
I mean, there were good touches by Fadeaway in that OT that really forced Vitality to, they couldn't get those hard clears. That option was taken away from them a lot of the time, and they had to try to find each other in the defensive half. So, like, I'm with you. I don't feel like they played, they were playing anything that wasn't their game, that wasn't, peak, or not peak Vitality, but vintage Vitality gameplay. Fadeaway are just meeting them at the punch. Somehow this team rises to the occasion every time when they are faced in any kind of elimination situation against a team that people expect, to beat them. But then they make it this interesting the whole way. They make it so interesting that they just might take down Vitality because we're still scoreless halfway through this game, and Vitality haven't had that many opportunities. That was just their second shot on net.
It does feel like Fadeaway are the 11th hour team, right? They don't want to do anything until the back's against the wall. You get assigned the group project, they do it the night before when you had 3 months to do it. That's really what Fadeaway is at the moment. And
hey, that's
you
where
know,
I did my best work.
If it works, right? I'm not going to sit here and judge, but man, oh man, it does not help my blood pressure, that's for sure.
Oh, what a touch from Alpha, but no, Fairy Peak can't get there. There's nothing but quarter chances for Vitality when they get down the field. It looks so good. They're so speedy coming on the transition, and that's why I'm impressed by Fadeaway on defense to be able to handle those fast transitions. 9 times out of 10, but the huge Mr. Ocelot is denied! Anyway, Tigre comes up with the save. Alpha, there's 2 touches towards the box, but nobody from Vitality can go for it. KDOP saw 3 cars and saw no entrances.
Oh my, oh my. It's looking like, Jorby, we might have another overtime here with the way this game's going. A very explosive overtime at that. Both these teams once again at each other's throats. And it's been wonderful to watch, especially because both sides have made fantastic defensive saves back and forth. And Alpha's going to be called upon here if Ocelot can catch back up to it. It does feel like, again, a very close series at this point. I don't think either team really have an edge here in the final minute.
Uh-oh. Well, Fairy Peak wants to give Vitality that last edge. 1 touch for him.
Alpha's
2 touches
there.
for Alpha! And Vitality take a late lead in Game 5.
Just the smallest hole in the box there. Fairy Peak, a great touch across, and Ocelot went off the sidewall to try and get that block, and Alpha just comes flying through to slap it home for Vitality. And with 43 seconds left, they're trying to stay alive here and prevent the reverse sweep.
Now, what happens if you're Fadeaway? You put 8 shots on the net. You got nothing to show for it. Vitality, they've had chances scarce. It finally ticked up at the end, but now you're out of time. Fadeaway, it's been a fight, a trench war for possession, for goals, for everything in this match. They've fought valiantly, but they need one final push, one last hurrah here. Here's Ocelot. Freaky denied by Alpha, but Tigre, he plays it on the ground, away from 1, squares up against Fairy Peak. Freaky forces his way towards the box. Alpha has to carry and takes it away. How fitting that Alpha 54 ends it for Vitality. Fadeaway are out, Vitality to the semis.
Whew. Wow, that's my Vitality impression right there after that game. Wow. What a close series, and for Vitality to come out of that one, it feels like it can't get much harder than that. Fadeaway gave them a run for their money, and Vitality were tested here. They certainly were tested here, and I think Vitality, they've been tested a few times here in Europe in these regionals. This is another team that has given Vitality a very hard time. Played Vitality very close. I don't want to take anything away from Fadeaway. They played an extremely close and an extremely well-played series, in my opinion here. Unfortunately, we have to have a winner, and here in Game 5, Vitality does come out on top.
I completely agree with you, Corelli. I thought Fadeaway made this one entertaining series against Vitality. I mean, they both did. I'm not going to give sole credit to one team. It was, there were methodical approaches from both teams. The mix-ups from Vitality kept Fadeaway, on their toes the whole time. And you could tell when you watch Fadeaway, when they're transitioning, they know that Vitality are giving them the mix-ups. And so sometimes they had to position for a loss, and then when they won, they would have to reposition again. It felt like it was darned if you do, darned if you don't. So that's it on that. We got one more quarterfinal left. Guild versus Team BDS. Can Team BDS do it again? Well, they start the road after the break.